All right, we're recording, and we're in the sun today, and I have my mother on the podcast again.
Hello, all.
For those of you who don't know, her name's Deborah. She birthed me. She pushed me out of her cooter catter.
That's right.
31 years ago,
That's right.
and here we are.
Memories.
Good memory.
Like the corner
Oh my God.
of my mind.
And she's always fucking singing. So there's that. We decided to be out. We wanted to be outside.
Today's
today.
a vacation day for me, so we needed to do this podcast outside.
Right.
I have to be outside.
Queen's orders.
Queen's orders.
Right.
I have to pick the dog up before he
Starts
drives me
barking.
nuts. Come here.
Come on, puppy.
Come on, babe.
So, I'm literally editing none of this. And we're both drinking our Corona seltzers.
Yeah, I have a cherry.
And today's topic, going with the flow of things, is bullying. And I've been wanting to talk about this, especially with you, because to get a parental...
And I had some issues myself growing
Right.
up.
Yeah. You were
For
bullied
many
too.
years, bullied. And the person that bullied me, you want to hear the funny thing about it? He's one of my dearest friends now.
He lives
and
right
his
next
wife
door.
lives right next door. I ended up buying a house right next door to him. But he tortured me throughout my elementary years.
Well, he changed. That's redemption. He changed, and he's a good person.
Oh, my God.
And
After I got divorced, if I didn't have him and his wife in my life, I probably would have jumped off a bridge. They are like my dearest friends. They're good. They're good people.
they
good
are
to me.
wonderful people. Anywho, when I was a kid, I always struggled with weight. I want to say, right?
I didn't know if it was a struggle, quite honestly. I never, it was, I never saw it like that. I never saw you as overweight, but moms wear rose-colored glasses too, so.
Right.
And everything you wore was huge. You wore everything 3 sizes bigger, so.
Yeah.
I never saw
because I
that.
wasn't comfortable
Yeah,
in
I
my
never
own
saw
skin.
that.
So I was in middle school, 7th grade. You go through your awkward phase, and I was a brainiac, a very good student. I wasn't.
That was your, middle school started your downfall.
Right.
You would have gone so much further
Had I not been bullied.
had you not been bullied.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
in elementary school, you were a TAL award winner. You Breakfast of Champions. You had all these overachievements you did. And when you started middle school, it was your
That was when I was
downfall.
right.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was like to be smart and to have all those accolades meant social suicide.
Right.
Because you couldn't be, you had to either be outgoing and awkward in your, going through your awkward phase, or good looking and studious in order to be popular.
This was all around the time that you were coming out as well.
Right. Right.
So you had a lot on your plate.
I did. Yeah. And that was that really was what threw me, I think, into a depression. But, tell your story. I guess, my story from
Okay.
your side.
So I'm trying to think, was it 6th or 7th grade?
7th.
It was 7th grade. So the thing was, we would go.
Well,
Here was a kid that got up every morning and was eager to go to school and eager to learn and eager to do. And then she got into the middle school, and I had to practically pull her hair to get her out of bed. And I was like,
well, there were many days, weeks at a time, where you would drop me off and I would hyperventilate and cry so badly that you couldn't even let me leave the car. You had no choice but to bring me home. And this went on for weeks until finally you were like, what the fuck is going on?
Exactly. And was it, I'm not sure, I don't remember how it happened. If you told me this person.
I don't remember telling you.
Yeah, no, because I remember looking at your arm, and you had all these cuts in your arm. I'm like, what the fuck happened here?
Right.
And you said, can I mention the name they called this person?
I wouldn't, and I'll get to why.
Anyway, this particular female was bullying her, and she was wearing a spike bracelet every day and jabbing her spike bracelet into Tori's wrist.
Beating me with this.
So now I appreciate seeing this, and something had to be done. So I went up to the school and I demanded to see the principal. And I sat in his office and I said, if this shit doesn't stop, just like that, I am going to hire an attorney and bring the entire school board up on negligent charges, and you will be sorry that you messed with this individual. Calm down, Mrs. Franco, or, we'll take care of it, blah, blah, blah. I said, this will be the last time I hear that my daughter's being abused like this by anyone. I'm letting you know right now. And he did, obviously. He knew I meant business. I would have hired an attorney and sued the school district.
Right.
It was causing not only physical harm, it was causing mental anguish. I had to pull you by your hair to get you out of bed to go to school.
Yeah.
It was a big problem. I was having a big problem.
And I wasn't just getting it from that particular girl. That girl was physical. She soccer kicked me in the groin one time, left me like on my knees in gym class. The spike bracelets, she would beat me with the spike bracelets, and like it was physical and mental from her. But also that same gym class, there was another group of kids who called me Toro, the bull, because I was fat. And so like when I wasn't getting it from her, I was getting it from this other group of kids. And
evil little bastards. just saying.
Well,
I knew nothing about this. I only knew about this particular girl who was, hurting her, physically hurting her.
Yeah. And I didn't say anything. And that's the scary part, was I never brought it home to you.
No, I knew nothing about it.
Yeah. You know who I told? I told Aunt Tisi, because we would go to Aunt Tisi's all the time.
After school.
And Aunt Tisi would tell me, like, you have to take your power back. You have to stand up to them. But I'm just not. I wasn't that person. But yeah, this one, my entire 7th grade year, and I think into 8th grade, it fucked me up. And a couple of years ago, just like side note, and I'm not even saying anything about like karma or anything like that, but it just goes to show how hurt people hurt people. I was talking to a friend, and I mentioned one of the kids' names who used to call me Toro the Bull. I mentioned his name, and the friend that I was talking to was like, "Oh my God, he's dead. He died of a drug overdose." And I
don't like to say, excuse me, karma, but even when I talk on my live, that's what I say, karma. There's no reason for revenge. There's no reason to get even. The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Well, I feel like what you put out into the universe is what's inside of you. If you're putting out negativity, then obviously you have some sort of negativity inside of you that you're harboring or that you haven't.
Well, obviously he had issues for him to die of a drug overdose.
He obviously wasn't hugged enough as a kid. Whatever it is, you know what I mean? He felt like he needed to cope in that way as an adult. And then as a kid, he needed to get his aggressions out on an innocent person like me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then
children learn what they live, unfortunately.
Right. That was one of the main bullies. And then the second main bully, this is the one
I knew about.
The one who would physically abuse me. Last night, I was hanging out with Brittany, and we were on her live, and she was mentioning this podcast about the bullying, and I went on the girl's Facebook page, because we're friends on Facebook, because I figured at 31 years old, yeah, okay, fine, I'll be friends with you.
Live and let live.
Right.
Right.
I'm not going to hold a grudge, you know.
It happened how many years ago?
Right. I was 12.
Right.
And I went on her Facebook, and I found out that on May 28th, she died. I don't know how. But
probably a drug overdose.
I don't want to speculate.
From what I understand, she also came from a broken family. I'm not broken up, a broken family. Mom wasn't, because remember, I have a friend who's a crossing guard.
Oh.
And,
she knew everybody knew the
all the people. And I mentioned this girl when it was going on to my friend. And she said, "Oh, that family's all messed up."
Right. So the moral of the story is a lot of the time, well, I want to ask you as a parent, how did it emotionally make you feel to see me come home with marks?
Listen, nobody, if, and I know this is going to sound mean, but if marks are going to be made on any of my children, I'm going to be making the marks. Not
Right.
some damn fucking stranger who has no right touching my kids. So obviously, the rage, and I felt bad for what she was going through, but the rage I felt, I wanted to grab the kid by her throat and flip her around the room a few times, knowing that my daughter was being not only verbally abused, but you were physically abusing her. Don't fuck with my kid.
Right.
It's that lioness that comes out as a parent.
Mama
And
bear.
that's why when I went up to the school, I threatened the life of the principal and didn't even feel remorse, wasn't embarrassed. I felt no. Listen, my kid is in your care, in your hands. I'm allowing my kid to go to your school, and I'm expecting her to be safe.
Yeah.
And when she's not, you're fucked up. You
Right.
fucked up.
And nowadays when it comes to bullying, you have not only in-person bullying, but you have the cyberbullying that goes on.
Now it's out of control.
Right. And
Right.
kids leaking
It's out of control.
pictures or
But also, parents have full control over that as well.
right.
So a lot of that I do blame the parents. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Because if I found out at any point in time, listen, the internet was starting to become
Boom.
more powerful as the girls were getting older. I mean, I was on AOL dating sites when their father and I split up, 20 some odd years ago. But the internet was getting, with the kids, was getting larger and larger and more powerful. But you have, as a parent, have full control over that as well.
Right.
So, there were incidents where Dina was doing stuff she shouldn't have been doing. I put a kibosh on it.
Right. Dina was catfishing.
Ask me how many times, or Tori, how many times did I take the
keyboard.
keyboard and put it in the trunk of my car?
Right. Right.
So when there's cyberbullying going on, I not only blame the kid, obviously, the kid has issues, I blame the parents.
Right. You have to know what's going on in your
And
kids'
children
lives.
learn what they live.
Right. But I think as a parent also you have to be able to read the signs of the kid that's being bullied, because I didn't bring it home to you.
I had no idea you
I
were
didn't
being
tell you
bullied.
anything. You just knew me as
That's a sneeze.
God bless you. God bless.
Thank you.
You just knew. Oh, God bless you again. God bless. You just knew me. God bless you.
Thank you. Excuse me.
You knew who I was and how I was in elementary school, and then all of a sudden to see that behavior change.
Well, I knew there was something going on.
Right.
Obviously.
You knew something.
You were eager to go to school. You used to tell me, we're going to be late. Let's go.
Right. I was tortured in because kids in middle school are just assholes.
Horrible.
I don't know what it is about middle school kids, but
because they're
just
feeling their oats. They're with now a different bunch of kids.
right.
So you're growing up in one
And it's
little
the
area.
peer pressure
and
is
you're out. Right.
because I remember
So one kid's cooler than the other.
right. And in middle school when I was that age, being smart, being the brainiac, being an A student wasn't cool. You had to have some sort of reputation, and my reputation was the brainiac. Kids would try to cheat off of me and peer pressure me to give them the answers,
Right.
and strong arm me to do certain things and do homework, you know what I mean? It was that. And then I would get literally pen caps thrown at my head, kids would throw freaking
Because she never had to open a book or study. It just came. If the teacher said this was this, and this, and this, her brain sucked it in, and it was easy for her.
It had a photographic memory.
Yeah. So the grades were incredible. I mean, now it's showing now while she's going to nursing school
As an adult.
with her 4.0 GPA. But in middle school and high school, I knew what she was capable of, and she wasn't doing it, and I knew there had to be a problem. There was something
Right.
going on.
Yeah, because I was conditioned at that point, because I was tortured so badly in every aspect of middle school. I was conditioned to, in my head, it was like, well, when you're
Should have been on the honor society all those years,
right.
and you weren't.
But I was like, okay, well, if I rebel and I act like I don't give a shit, then I'll fit in.
Right.
And that was when I started to fit in.
Right.
Was so I saw that
Screwing up.
pattern. Right.
Last night on the live, some of the ladies were asking me, did Dina, and I don't remember this, did Dina defend you in any way?
Dina wanted to kill the girl.
But Dina was also very quiet.
Right.
She just started to get, I was telling them about the time we were sitting on the stoop here in the front, and
Talk into your microphone.
we were sitting on the stoop here in the front, and the girl and guy walked by, and the guy was kind of rough handling the girl, and Dina went flying towards the guy, and Uncle Mike ended up coming out because he wanted to defend Dina, but Dina was going to break it up. Do you
Right,
remember
right.
that?
I do remember that, yeah.
She started to get tougher as she got older.
Yeah. I think dealing with our stepmother kind of primed her for that,
Could
realistically.
be.
But I think
monster.
Right. But I think that's a whole nother topic. But I think
at
for
another
me,
time.
I was always that type of person that internalized it, and then I would get angry. I mean, think about after the bullying took place, how angry I was for years after that. I would bust doors off of hinges and go after Dina. I was
Yeah.
very angry, violent, and
The destruction in my home.
I kicked holes
The
into
costs I'll never get back.
truth.
Yeah, it's
I took the front door. I remember I busted what's it called? The molding.
Yep.
I busted the molding off of the walls.
Yep. I obviously wasn't home. That was
I
during
kicked-
the time I
I kicked
probably
the
should
whole-
have been home.
I
and
put a kid-
wasn't.
I was so angry, and I was so and I think I still have it in me, but obviously as you get older,
You control it.
right.
Yeah, you control it. Although the other day, the way you screamed at me.
All right.
Yeah.
First of all, I wasn't screaming. Second of all, that's a totally different topic.
Okay, but she was screaming.
I was not
Just saying.
screaming. I was not screaming. I raised my voice.
Mhm.
But
Go figure.
You've seen me scream before. You know what I'm capable of. That was
I
not.
know.
Yeah, that was not scream. I
No.
mean, I was yelling, but
Mhm.
screaming is different. That's totally off topic. Anyway,
Okay.
there was a kid I remember
Talking
who
about your temper.
there was a kid that and this is directly correlated to the bullying, because I was never an aggressive kid growing up. I was a very peaceful kid.
Right.
But me being bullied like that, I had a lot of anger inside of me, and people would play around with me, hit me, and something would snap, and I would see red. And I remember I put the kid Ricky through the wall
Oh, yeah.
downstairs.
Yeah.
I literally put this.
He didn't belong here anyway, but
Right.
that's another story at another time as well.
He was one of my friends, and we were hanging out, and he knew that I had anger issues, and he knew from what.
He also had many other issues, too,
Right,
so
right.
for him to...
But he thought it was funny. He thought it was a game to try and get me to that point of anger, because I was like a
Is he still alive?
I think so. But nowadays, at this point, I don't even know. I'm
Because
checking.
he had drug issues, too,
He
didn't he?
did, yeah.
What a shame.
I was like his pit bull, He would like try and round me up, and every time it worked. I remember one time in the backyard here, lifting him over my head and body slamming him,
Nice.
and then I put him.
Obviously,
through the
I
wall.
wasn't around for that either.
No, you weren't. You weren't here for that.
There
But
were a lot of issues I wasn't around for. But you know what? Again, I don't want to reiterate, but kids that are bullies are being bullied at home
Right.
in some way.
Right.
And it saddens me because although I would like to grab them by the throat and flip them around a room a few times, they're kids. And they've obviously learned this behavior, because that's what it is. It's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
Oh, sorry.
it starts from home. And, now look at these two are both deceased. I didn't know about the girl until this morning.
Yeah. I found out last night.
And she's really the only one I knew about. And if I could have body slammed her myself as an adult, I would have. That's the anger I have knowing someone. That's okay. Knowing someone is abusing my children. Now, I know this is a different topic at a different time, but this is where we get to my ex-husband's wife. The hatred I have for her, which is a horrible emotion, because she not only verbally but physically abused my daughters, and I would like to run her over and back up. And it's all truth be told. That's the anger and the hate I have for this individual. And the hate I have for her over exceeds the hate I have for their father because he allowed this to happen. No parent should allow their child to be abused at any point in time.
Essentially,
a child who is defenseless.
right.
And who has been taught their entire childhood, respect your elders.
Right. Essentially, though, she was a bully, too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Still a bully.
I mean, yeah,
Tried to bully me.
Right.
We see where that got me. She ended up blocking me from her phone because
We don't have to go into the details.
don't bully with the best. Yeah, because it ain't happening.
But the
But she is a bully. She is still a bully.
right.
And she's bullying her daughter.
Right. She bullies her daughter. She name calls her daughter. Right.
Yep.
When she gets
That's
drunk.
a bully.
Yeah, absolutely.
She bullied me too. As a matter of fact, she tried. Anyway,
She tried to talk about your
my
hair.
blonde hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I laughed. I thought it
So
was funny.
people like that, though, we have to always keep it. And it's hard because when you're being bullied and you're somebody like me who I never was taught to defend myself because
There was never a reason to.
right, but everything happened all at once. At the same time that I was being abused by my stepmother, I was also being bullied. You know, it was the same exact time. You know what I mean?
So you had it tenfold.
Right.
Yeah.
So the anger that was inside of me, I almost killed Dina one time. I don't even think you know. We were fighting, and Dina, anytime that, I was a heavy kid, and anytime that Dina wanted to...
Dina was a skinny bag of bones.
Right.
Yeah.
Dina could eat anything and had
Yeah.
7 assholes, and,
Yeah.
I was always
Yeah.
envious of that. And anytime Dina got pissed off at me, it was, well, you're a fat fuck. And the minute she would say that, I would go after her, and she knew it. So I don't even know why she did it. And one day we got into a fight, and she threw something at me, called me a fat fuck, and I got on top, and I blacked out. And I got on top of Dina, and I held my hand on her throat with my body weight. And I'll never forget, the image of Dina's face. When somebody's being choked out.
She must have got scared too, though, I bet.
Dina was afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet.
because she saw eyes couldn't see anything.
Right.
I'll never forget the image of seeing my sister's face as I'm sitting on top of her,
Trying to strangle her.
strangling her.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't around for that either.
you were no, you were at work. And I got on top of her, and she looked at me, and I remember her eyes because she couldn't speak.
Now, what about the not to change the subject, but what about? See, I knew these all had to be issues. You were in middle school when your best friend was moving to another town far away,
Right.
and you got ossified drunk
Yeah.
that they had to call me to leave work.
Well, I was in 9th grade. It was the first week of 9th grade.
Okay, so you were in the high school.
Yeah.
All right.
And Carmine was my best friend. He was my security blanket.
Yeah. He practically lived here.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I think he popped in on my live last night, and I said, this boy practically lived in this house.
Right, he did. He lived
But
right
since
over
he
here on
moved
the next block over.
A few towns over, we don't see
And him and I were ass buddies.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he was my security blanket. And I was so fucked up from what happened in middle school, from the abuse that I endured in middle school,
Yep.
that I finally was like, I have this friend in high school now. I have this security blanket that if anything were to happen, he's going to protect me. He's going to be my friend that I go to. And then literally like that, he moved.
Yeah.
So I went into another depression, came home, raided the liquor cabinet.
There was never much in the liquor cabinet.
Well, there was something in White Zinfandel, I think.
Yeah, there was a wine or something in there that you devoured the whole bottle, I believe. Because I
Right.
got a phone call from one of their other best friends, Sheba, called me and
Mhm.
said, you got to come home, Mom.
Yeah.
Tori did a little drinking. And I was praying with every ounce of my energy that she would have a hangover the next day, praying to the alcohol god above, make her have a hangover. And guess what?
It didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
I didn't start getting hangovers, not to get off topic, but
So
I
you
didn't.
were doing shots and stuff.
No, I didn't until like 25, 26, until my body just started like slowing down, and then I started getting them.
I was hoping she would have been sick as a dog, and she wasn't.
But the moral of the story is,
Yeah. Well, you were hiding behind something
right,
and escaping, and the escape was to drink the bottle of
right,
that I made you promise you'd never do that again.
right. And I didn't.
Well, not that I know of.
Not until I was, old enough to realize.
Listen, I'm a firm believer, and I don't, again, another conversation another time, but the drinking age was 21. So even though they were in my house, that was not going to happen. I was
Right.
not allowing it. Sorry. If they did it behind my back, oh well, I didn't know about it. But I was not condoning alcoholic beverages in my home. However, there were times that I would go away for a weekend. As long as everybody slept in my house, I didn't care. I used to tell them, the house, the roof that's over your head, someone could take from us.
Right.
So,
But we're getting off topic. But
yes, we are.
when
I'm
it
sorry.
comes to, no, it's all right. Don't be sorry. When it comes to the bullying, I think it's a chain reaction. It's the parents aren't. That's the battery, just in
Mhm.
case we run out. The parents teach the kids. The
Children learn what they live. That's
right,
the bottom
the kids
line.
go to school
Right.
and treat somebody
They
else
could be
like
being
shit.
bullied at home.
Right.
So I really believe children don't want to hurt people. They don't want to hurt they really don't.
They just don't have any other way.
Right, that's
to get their aggression.
defense mechanism.
Right.
And it's to,
They can't beat their parents up.
right, so they're going to abuse you.
Right.
Exactly.
And when you're being talked down to, and you feel that way inside, misery loves company. You want to make somebody else feel
right.
a fraction of what you're feeling.
Right.
Not to give bullying or bullies any type of
Recognition.
stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it does need to stop, and
Right, obviously.
the schools need to be
But
more.
the families need to recognize it. Mother and father,
It's-
or just mother, or just father.
two mothers, two
Somebody
fathers.
right. Someone needs to recognize it and nip it. If the kid needs help, then you pay and you send the kid for help. How many times were you in therapy over the years?
I'm a lifer at
Yeah.
this point.
Me too. I'm going back.
Right. It's been on and off my entire life, but
Me too.
yeah, but I think the key, and this is basically always goes back to this, is self-awareness. As a parent, if somebody's coming to you and saying your
kid's
child
a bully.
is bullying my child, as a parent of that child who loves that kid, it is not your job to deny it. It is your job
to fix it.
exactly
Whatever it takes.
to believe what's being said. I mean, or not believe what's being said, but investigate and figure out
Right.
what's going on. I mean, Brittany, you know Tatiana.
Yeah.
Tatiana's
A sweetheart.
a wonderful
Oh
kid.
my God.
Somebody came to Brittany and was like, Tatiana's bullying my kid, and Brittany was like, well, that's out of character. You have to know your kid too. She was like, that's out of character for Tatiana. And the kid was telling their mother that Tatiana was being the bully, when realistically it was flipped. The kid was being
Bullying
a bully.
Tatiana.
Yeah, but Brittany, instead of being like, not my kid,
She
got down
me
to the
too, I
bottom of
never.
it.
I was never one of those parents. If I got a phone call saying your daughters did blah, 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 okay, we're going to investigate.
Right.
I'm going to tell you a quick story. What Dina was, I don't know if it was a form of bullying or what she was doing.
Peer pressure.
Well, whatever she was doing, it was with a really good friend's daughter, and the really good friend came to my house to let me know what was going on.
Keep going.
She had every right. And, I mean, Dina knew she was doing wrong because that's not how I raised her. And
Keep going.
she emotionally, Dina, saw this and knew she was going to get in trouble. Dina, whenever she got upset, she would, there's words, lettering on the screen.
Oh yeah. Keep
Okay.
talking.
She would get physically ill, like vomit. She was out in front of my house throwing up, at the time my family lived around the block. She took herself around because she knew she had done wrong. And when she came home, she could not do anything but apologize. It was stupidity on her part.
Partially, she in the closet, I think she had a crush on the girl,
Yeah.
and she was, you know.
Yeah. And later years, she ended up apologizing to the girl, because the mother and I were really good friends.
And it kind of put a damper on the friendship.
And it did put a damper on the
Whatever she
friendships.
did.
We didn't hang out for many years.
Dina pretended to be a boy to this girl on Instant Messenger. And, as kids, you meet people in chat rooms or whatever, and kids would, like build relationships, like fake relationships. So Dina built this cyber boy and became this girl that we grew up with's boyfriend. And they had a friendship, a cyber friendship. And then the girl found out that Dina was being the catfish. And that's basically what.
Yeah. And she told her mother. And her mother, but there was so many lies that came out. And the mother, who is a good friend of mine, came to the house here and
printed out all the receipts.
I was completely
mortified.
I had no words. All I could do was say, I have to get to the bottom of it, and I'm very, very sorry. But let me find out exactly what happened. And Dina didn't lie. She told the truth. So I was upset and concerned and said, this is not stuff you do. And it never happened again. But it was addressed immediately.
Well, you didn't. If somebody brought something to you,
I never said,
not my kid.
Nope. Not.
But I think
first of all, what's my golden rule?
Liars and cheaters always get caught.
And don't spit up in the wind.
Right.
Because every one of our kids are capable of doing anything.
Because you know what? Your kid may be one way at home and then a completely different way at school.
Absolutely.
So you think you know your kid and you think that your kid is doing the right thing. And you know what? Sometimes peer pressure. I've done things out of pocket, out of character for me because of peer pressure. Even at an older age, at 18, 19. Am I the type to climb a fucking building? No, but I scaled a building and broke my foot because I was
lied like a rug.
And lied and
said
for
you were
years.
playing touch football or whatever.
Right.
In the meantime, you didn't have medical coverage.
Right. Well, okay, we don't need to go into all of it.
I know, but I'm just saying you had to go get
a
cast on your leg.
Right. But that wasn't like me to be like that. But because of peer pressure, you do things.
Well, you weren't thinking.
Out of character.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
You're trying to follow
So I'm
the
thinking
herd.
in a mother brain, oh my God, now she's got to go to the hospital. We got to get this fixed. I mean, we did what... Actually, Sheba took you.
Mm-hmm.
And had it fixed.
Yeah.
But whatever.
But it was because of peer pressure.
Right.
And
because the cops were coming, right?
I almost got arrested. Yeah. I almost got arrested.
That wouldn't have been pretty.
And that's not me. I'm not. I'm an obeyer of the law.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
I'm not.
Well, that's how you were raised.
I'm not insubordinate. Even in high school, I was trying to fit in because I had seen what I went through in middle school, and I promised myself I'll never go through that again.
Right.
So in high school, I purposely dumbed myself down in order to fit in with the other kids, and I acted stupid, and I acted like literally unintelligent. Just to fit in, and I acted like a rebel and, whatever because of peer pressure, and I went with the herd so that I didn't get beat up as kind of almost as a means of survival for myself because of what I went through. And so I got involved with a weird crowd, and I was smoking cigarettes in the fucking bathroom stalls with my friends and smoking weed before school, and that wasn't me, but that was who I wanted. That was the cover I wanted to give myself in order to not be...
So you could survive. It was survival of the fittest.
Of the fittest, exactly.
Yep.
And
I get it. I was a completely different kid in high school. I had, like I have my warrior team on my lives. No, really.
Yeah.
I had, because I guess more than anything, because I was such a friendly, upbeat, outgoing female, yet a skinny bag of bones. I didn't go on any dates. But I had all these tough girls that if anybody fucked with me, so sometimes I accidentally would get myself in trouble and call Paula or Joanne, and
See,
my defense, they were there backing me.
I ended up being that.
So I behaved. The worst thing I did was the smoking in the bathroom.
See, I did stupid things. I did very dumb
But I
things.
didn't drink before I was supposed to.
No.
I took care of the girls that did that.
I rebelled.
Yeah.
And
I was afraid of my father,
and
too.
became one of those girls. I wasn't afraid of
You weren't afraid of nobody.
You or Daddy. No,
Yeah.
I wasn't at all. And I rebelled and became somebody that I really wasn't.
Right.
Like, I was a fighter. I was in people. I remember, like, purposely going. I had guy friends that were tall, and I remember, like, purposely, like, getting in their faces just to kind of, again, like, survive, like how lions do, like in the wild. One lion will go up against another in order to show who's the
boss.
the alpha.
Right.
I would do that to, like, the guys, like, to show, like, don't fuck with me. And I remember, like, I would take down the dudes, like I had this, like, takedown thing that I would do.
Knew nothing about this.
Yeah, I was very angry, very violent and angry. And, like, I became a fighter for...
Warranted. It was warranted.
Well, yeah.
For the nonsense you went through.
Right. I repressed a lot of it.
But I never got a phone call. The only time I got a phone call was when Christy was having issues with that one person in school.
She was being bullied.
And
bad.
you got involved.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call.
Yeah, because you're not going to fuck with my friend.
And
but I was always...
They had a zero tolerance for fighting in school.
Right.
She got in more trouble than you did, but you were involved, and I got a phone call.
Right.
I had to go up to the high school. But other than that, I never had stuff... Dina, I never got any phone calls with Dina. I never got any phone calls, really, with you.
No, I was a very subordinate kid. When I was caught doing things by the principals and stuff like that, the other kids would talk back, go fuck yourself, this and that.
Right.
I submitted, like,
Right.
I was never...
guilty.
I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to... Like, I'm not
Sorry.
I always had a mature...
My bad.
Right. Right. Like, yeah, you're right. I am outside right now smoking a cigarette and I shouldn't be. Okay, what's the punishment? Whereas the other kids that I was with would, like, fight. Like, I'm not doing anything. Well, you're clearly doing something
You
wrong.
are, obviously.
So, like, for me, it was a cover. For me, it was a mask that I wore in order to survive high school.
Because you didn't want to be defiant. You didn't want to. You just did it because you didn't want to be bullied.
Right.
And I get it.
And exactly. For the kids that I ran with, it was who they were.
Right.
They grew up in whatever type of environment, and
right.
A lot of them have drug issues still to this day. A lot of them in and out of rehab. You know what I mean?
But then, like, someone like Christy, who was like your best friend as well in high school.
Yeah.
She turned out awesome.
Right, because, and I think
her family.
Right. The underlying issue.
Because when there was an issue, her mom and dad, if she
were
was
right
here
there,
hanging out here, they were at the house. Let's talk about it.
Right.
They came here.
Right.
Let's talk about it. Let's get this fixed.
Christy's family, right?
Yeah.
Christy didn't grow up. Christy fell kind of like me, victim to the peer pressure and the ways of, okay.
Right. And she had one lousy, disgusting friend that,
Well, that person was, but whatever it was, it wasn't, for Christy, the foundation wasn't
right. She
her
didn't grow
family
up
life.
Right. Even though you came from a broken family, you had your Nonny,
love,
your aunts, me. You had all this good support behind you. We were on top of it. I wasn't a drunk in the bars on the weekends.
You weren't abusive.
I wasn't abusive.
I mean, yes, I was being abused by my stepmother.
There were times I got verbal, but I grew up in a screaming household, so children learn what they live.
And that's an example of that. Look, Grandpa was a bully.
Yeah,
Grandpa was a fucking bully to you guys.
Right.
And because of that, you ended up a screamer.
Yep.
And have
not a bully, but I was
a screamer. No, you weren't. You're not
still,
a bully.
I mean,
But that's that pent up anger from all the years of dealing with him.
Yeah, because I was afraid to answer him back. I'd have no teeth in my mouth.
Right.
Then you didn't call CPS.
Exactly. They didn't even have it.
You lost teeth.
Exactly. And you just
I needed my teeth.
You got nice teeth.
Thank you. It cost me enough.
But that is
Could have
the
got 2 boob jobs with these teeth.
I can't stand you.
But they cost me.
That's the chain reaction of bullying. That's the
Yes.
chain reaction of abuse. You could have easily turned that aggression onto another kid, another innocent
Oh,
bystander.
absolutely. And there was no way that was happening. I still run into people and go, oh my God, Debbie Colombo, that smile and that personality. I will never forget that.
Yeah.
Because that's how I was in school. I actually was disappointed I graduated high school. That's how much I loved it. Because I had a social life
Right.
in school. I mean, I went to class. I did what I was supposed to do.
You had the routine.
I had the routine. But I still had people.
right.
And I loved being around people.
And
So it was all good.
I think people like you and I are more susceptible to being bullied because we're very happy-go-lucky,
Right.
joyful, like we're people.
But even in the workforce, I won't tolerate it. And believe me, I have managers that have tried
to bully you,
I had one last week tried to bully me over the phone.
I'm very.
I stepped him right in his place. Listen, I'm almost 64 years old.
You had to learn that.
You're not going to bully me,
Right.
even in the workplace. But
No.
there are that do try.
I'm very submissive. I'm a very emotionally submissive person. Like if somebody were, and I'm working on it. But if somebody were trying to take advantage of me, they'd
get away with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they could
I know.
easily do it.
I know. I'm not.
It-
I probably was as a kid. Nobody did because, like I said, I had my force behind me, which was a good thing, But as I got older, getting divorced, running a house, when I go into a car dealership, I'm the bully,
Right.
So
Do you think? Oh, I know that I don't think I've ever been a bully in my entire life.
I can be a bully. I don't mean to be. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I feel like someone's trying to take advantage of me, when it comes to like financial, like you go to lease a car, I tell them right from the beginning, the deal better be to my liking or the pocketbook's getting picked up and I'm out of here.
I don't know what it is.
So do the right thing from the beginning.
I don't know what
Don't
it is.
waste my time.
What it is about me that like I see.
No, you know what? Not that I'm interrupting you, but yeah, because I'm going to say, if I get on the phone with, am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong. If I get on the phone with someone who I think like in the customer service something, whether it be the cable bill or whatever, I get on with an attitude. And she's like, Mom, take it down a notch. Really? But that's my defense mechanism. They say you get more bees with honey and blah, 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 blah.
I think I
But
just.
sometimes people take advantage of that.
They do. But I think for me, I don't know what it is. If I was like.
Look at the deal we got you on your lease. Your dad
I know,
and
you did.
We were a tag team.
It was very uncomfortable for me to sit there while you guys did that.
But we did it.
But you did it, and I'm grateful. But I think for me, I have the patience of a fucking saint.
Yes. I don't. I have no patience.
Yeah.
Zero
I
patience.
have all the patience in the world.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I was Jesus in a past life or Gandhi or whoever, but I'm very like treat everybody with, the utmost respect and kindness because you don't know what other people are going through.
No, I agree with that. Listen, you won't get an argument from me on that. You don't know what people are going through. But my wall comes up immediately.
Right. I mean,
especially when I'm in a situation like I'm getting a new lease on my car. I'm calling you about the cable bill being too effing high.
In that type of environment, I'm not going to do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not on the fucking road and somebody does something and I'm like not like automatically, you fucking asshole piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm not like, oh yeah, I don't know why they.
Namaste.
Right. They cut me off because they're having a bad day. Like, no, obviously I'm a human being.
Right.
But I do have a lot of patience.
I think also for me, growing up in the environment I grew up in,
yeah,
made me a little more tough-skinned.
absolutely.
So I think that's probably why right away I think everybody's out to screw me.
Right.
And they're not. And, I realize that. But listen, I'm the first to admit defeat.
Right.
I'm not a narcissist. If I'm wrong, I'll lay down.
Right. But I think when it comes to bullying and it comes to bullies, I think it's twofold. We have to obviously pay attention to the kids that are being bullied,
Right, obviously.
and pay attention to the kids that are the victim of bullying. But also we have to look at the bully,
Right.
and get the bully help.
Right.
Because I feel like
yeah.
bullying is a cry out for help.
100%. Nobody wants to be evil like that.
No.
Nobody.
We don't start off that way.
No,
I don't
that's not
think.
how we come into this world.
No.
No,
Trauma
absolutely.
and
And again, children learn what they live. So obviously they're being abused in their homes, and that needs to be addressed.
Right.
But it needs to be addressed.
Absolutely. And nowadays, I think in the world, the climate that we're living in, look, even as fucking adults in this country, we can't not bully each other for differing views. You know what I mean?
Well, like you got bullied on Facebook
Right.
by a family
By
member.
my aunt.
Right. That was bullying. She bullied you.
Yeah, she did bully me.
Right.
Absolutely, she was
Right.
fucking.
She was out of
bullying me.
control. Yeah.
Right.
But, unfortunately, children learn what they live.
Right.
I'm sorry.
And that's where it starts. It starts with the
yep,
family.
in the house.
It starts with the parenting. If you're a parent out there, if you're a mother, a father, single mother, whatever it is,
Remember, because
teach your fucking kids. And if somebody comes to you and says, your kid did XYZ to my kid, listen to them. Don't fucking fight. Be self-aware. And if you are a reflection of your
Exactly.
child, that means
Exactly.
your child is a child. That child is not
I don't care how
responsible for
embarrassed
themselves.
you are or how...
It sometimes can be embarrassing.
Absolutely. Look, the day a dear friend came to my house to tell me Dina did what she did, I was mortified, but it was getting addressed.
Right.
And it was never going to happen again.
Address it. Don't sweep it under the rug.
Nope.
And kids,
And that's why my daughters, and I can say this, are the human beings that they are today. Good, loving, caring human beings. I see it in Dina. Like I said, if she sees somebody being abused, she's right on it, even when she shouldn't even be. She should be minding her own business.
Right.
But she's not allowing it. I see it in Tori, the compassion and the love. Look, I didn't, again, I grew up in a dysfunctional family. But we take from that and we sort out the bad and we try to hold on to the good, because there was a lot of good. And we try to
work
fix
out the bad.
Right. We try to fix the bad. Listen, my screaming rages are a very bad quality. I need to work on them. But I'm almost 64 years old, and I need to learn. And listen, I may be alive another 20 years, so I got 20
But
years
the
of getting
moral
better.
of the story is, with anything and everything that I talk about on this podcast realistically goes back to this. It's fucking self-awareness.
Oh, yeah.
Hold yourself
Oh, yeah.
accountable.
You have to.
Hold your children
Right.
accountable.
Never not me.
Right.
Not me. Never.
Right.
You
If
can't
somebody
say that.
comes to you
or
and
not
says,
my kid.
right,
Mm-mm.
you cannot do that.
Mm-mm.
You're only going to prolong the situation. You're only
Right.
going to prolong the bullying.
Right.
Not my kid would never do that. Ignoring the issue doesn't make the issue go away.
Right. No. Or fighting with someone and saying my kid would never do that.
Doesn't make it a true statement.
No, that's right.
Just because you feel like your kid would never do that doesn't mean your kid has never done it and is not still continuing to do it. And you know what? Nowadays, there's too many kids are exposed to too many things that they have too much access to ways to commit suicide. I was suicidal from being bullied. There were many times that I would cry in that bathroom inside, and I would look at that cabinet of drugs and I would think, what can I pump my body full of so that I could just fucking disappear? And I'm sure this is the first you're hearing of it.
I had no idea.
I
but-
wanted to fucking die
Yeah.
because I felt worthless inside because other kids...
But I think, and again, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I think the strength around you with the love from your nonnies
Absolutely.
and your aunts and your mother and your father
Yes,
stopped you.
saved
I
my
think
life.
if you felt like you were a hopeless case,
Right.
and the people around you didn't give a crap,
I
that's how you felt,
I wouldn't be here
you
today.
would have succeeded.
Absolutely.
But I think because you had all these strong force behind you,
Right.
it stopped you from doing that.
Right.
And it saddens me when I hear kids committing suicide over some obnoxious
Young.
bully, and
it's getting younger and younger.
and they're getting younger and younger.
Yeah.
And it's very sad.
And it needs to stop.
And the awareness needs to start at home.
Yeah. Absolutely. What is it that you're going through? Because me as a human being, and you just said me and Dina are very compassionate human beings.
Absolutely.
I'll never go out of my way, partially because, mainly because I went through it tenfold as a kid, and I know what it feels like, and I know what it does to your mental. Even as an adult, I'm still fucked up from it. I still have body image issues or whatever. You know what I mean? So
we all do. I think most people do. I mean, even me as the shape, the working out and the stuff, the shape I'm in at almost 64 years old, I'm still critical and I rip myself apart.
But what is that from? Think about it. Your ex used to literally point it out to you.
Yep.
So it's always that
Yep.
that bullying factor that can really fuck with you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And stick. And
I didn't even realize he was a bit of a bully.
absolutely, he was a fucking bully.
I never even realized it. Yeah.
Not my father, the
Yeah.
man she was married to before.
My first ex-husband.
Right.
But he was young. And
But
stupid.
I think me as a human, I'll never go out of my way to be negative to somebody else, even in the midst, even with my aunt when she was bullying me on Facebook. I didn't disrespect her.
Not for a second, because you were taught not to anyway.
I was taught not to.
That's number one.
Yeah.
And that's not your nature.
No.
Absolutely
It's
not.
just never
So you
been.
just shut it down,
Right.
and that was it.
I remember Brittany was like, "You didn't tell her to go fuck herself."
Right.
That's just
See,
not,
I would have.
right. But that's not who I am.
No.
I'm not.
would have.
I'm not one of those.
But I've gotten better too, because I could have easily text messaged her and told her off. It took me a long time to text message your bully step monster. How many years that I butted
Right.
out all the time. Finally, a month ago,
Right.
I gave it to her full barrel.
Right. When everything.
And I have to tell you, I'm sorry. It felt so good. It was like,
To me, I don't know.
it was like the big O. I'm just saying.
well for her because she's not a good person.
No. But I needed to get it off my chest. Over the years, I never addressed it for fear the retaliation for you and your sister would have been much worse.
Right.
So I kept my mouth shut. I mean, she and I had words over nonsense,
Yeah,
but
there
not
were
over
many-
this.
There were many times you called her a
Now
cunt.
she knows. I know she abused my children. She didn't know I knew she abused my children. I addressed it.
Oh, you addressed the fact that she abused us.
I told her flat out, I know you have abused my children over the years, and it will never happen again.
And what was
Obviously, she denied it.
Right. I was going to say,
never
what,
did.
What was her response?
And of course, I called her a lying piece of shit,
Because she is.
loser. My
Right.
anger came out. She deserved every ounce of it.
But for me,
20 some odd years of keeping it in.
even with a stranger, I'll never look at a stranger and be like,
Yeah.
well, you're an ugly piece of cow
No, I
dung.
wouldn't either.
Because I
Understand.
know what it feels like to have your insecurities be thrown right back
Excuse
in
me.
your face. Me and Dina the other day, we were doing this roasting challenge where we were trying to roast
I was
each other.
watching. I was listening to some of it.
And
yeah.
people are like, yeah, Dina won. And the reason why Dina won is because
You couldn't think of anything nasty to say to
I
her.
didn't want to cross a line.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hurt
Yeah.
Dina's insecurities.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hurt her feelings.
Right.
So I was trying to Dina went for the jugular, which,
Right.
I don't care. It was funny.
Right.
But everybody was like, hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't.
I didn't
Which was
want to
good.
play on
Yeah,
Dina's.
That's what you're all about anyway.
Yeah, I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not my thing.
That's the cancer in you.
It is.
The cancer
Very
sign.
emotional, very sensitive.
Yeah.
I want people to feel good
Be happy.
and be happy.
Don't worry.
Be happy. do, 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 do.
Listen, when I go live.
Yeah.
If it's someone that I'm chatting with in the live,
Right.
child's birthday or husband's birthday, something, they make me sing happy birthday.
Yeah. I do too.
So I sing happy birthday. I love it.
I
It's
sing
great.
happy birthday.
It's what it's all about.
Yep.
Birthdays are important.
They are very important. Unless you're a Jehovah Witness, in which case you don't
well,
celebrate.
And they can't boot us. Like, if I would have said that on the live, I would have got booted. They would have shut me down.
Well, here, this is my YouTube channel.
Here, we can say whatever we'd like.
Right. Fuck you. We could say whatever.
Within reason.
If you're a Jehovah
I'll tell you, they
Witness.
say it's, something about being a blonde. Blondes have fun. I'm shedding. As a blonde.
So last thoughts. What are your
Yes.
final thoughts on bullying?
And we need the word, too.
We do have to think of a word.
All right.
If you want to think of one, you can.
I could. I'm thinking of one.
Bah.
Oh, God bless.
Thank you. Ooh, that guy.
My thoughts are,
If you could give one piece of it, or
my advice, the only piece of advice, and I know I give this on my live, and I'm giving it now, is recognize at home what goes on at home. Because, and I say this a bazillion times,
Mhm.
but I can't oversay this because
Has it be?
it's very important. How you behave in your home comes out in your children.
Yes.
So again, I'm going to reiterate for the 955th time, children learn what they live. So be aware of your behavior in the house.
Mhm.
Be aware of the words that come out of your mouth.
How your delivery.
Yes. And children learn what they live.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Absolutely. Be nice. Be kind.
Yes.
Be always
Positive.
Always and
Send the love.
I feel like these episodes now, if you're watching and you're new, even watch the other episodes, the previous episodes, the one on communication and the one on, self-love, whatever it is, because I feel like it all ties into each other. If you can communicate to anybody anything that you want, as long as you do it. And what do I always tell you?
Right. It's how you
Right.
address
in a
it.
good way.
Yes.
So with these bullies,
It's not what you say, it's
how you say it.
Yeah.
So with these bullies, I'm sure they had parents who were trying to tell them about themselves or whatever, but they didn't do it in a constructive way. They did it in a destructive way, an
right.
abusive way. And
Right.
because of that, these kids went to school looking to unleash their anger on an innocent bystander, unfortunately one of them being me, and you don't know what...
And the damage it does.
Right. You don't know the damage it does. And it does do damage.
I never realized the damage it did.
Right. I'm still at 31 realizing the damage it's done through therapy and like going back and really reliving the things and going through the emotions, because a lot of times you bottle it up. A lot of times you suppress it, you repress it, you don't release it.
Right.
And that only
Right.
creates more anger.
Right. And animosity.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you take anything home, it's come from a place of love and compassion when you're communicating to your children.
Even in your worst day.
Even on your worst
Because everybody
day.
goes through stuff.
Right.
Listen.
Don't make anybody your punching bag.
I used to go in my bedroom and cry when I was feeling down and
Right.
blue. So not to take it out on them.
Don't make anybody your punching bag.
Right. Right.
Self-accountability.
Yes.
Take accountability for your own.
Right.
That's your child. Your
Yeah.
child can't take accountability for themselves. They're a child.
They're
a
learning
minor.
from you.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to take accountability for them.
Exactly.
That's your job as a parent
exactly.
to do that.
That's
I'm
what
like
it's all
crouching
about.
so that I'm in frame. So that's
That's what it's all about.
right.
Should I stand too now?
If you want to
Since you're
stand.
standing?
Okay, if you want
Anyway, yes. So I do agree. I agree that the message you send to your children is how they're going to behave as young adults.
to. Mm-hmm.
And if even, like I said, there were times I was miserable and unhappy and angry, and I would lock my bedroom door and cry and curse, whatever. I tried very hard not to send the message to my girls because, look, see, I'm much taller. They had to be better human beings. And I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah, we're pretty
They
good.
did turn out
We're not pretty bad.
to be better human beings. Now, what word am I looking at? Sweet potatoes.
All right. So the secret word is sweet potatoes. If you've listened to this this far, then comment below. Find our TikToks.
Yep.
DM us.
Yep.
Sweet potatoes. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
For
I love
listening.
you all.
We love
Thank
you.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out.
Peace out. Cub Scout.